Hello everybody, and welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration, Part 18, The American Nightmare. There's a lot of very important topics to talk about today. We won't be doing too many jokes or laughing too much, because America, like we said, is a total shithole. If you guys didn't notice, there was a very casual insurrection the other day. So this episode is going to be mainly about discussing topics in law. We briefly referenced what is consent, and right off the get-go, this will be slightly brainstorming, slightly lecture. But like I said, the social issues are just bigger than anyone can give you a definitive answer on, or at least bigger than I can give you a definitive answer on. But conversations, again in current political conversation, are just hilariously underdeveloped. We covered that in the last episode, and our political party starter packs. We might talk more about political parties, but as I said, mainly topics in law. What is consent? What is liability? What is incitation of violence? Did Donald Trump incite violence? We'll be talking about incitation in general, and incitation specifically to the storming of the Capitol building. We'll be talking about mob mentality. We'll be talking about exaggerated language. There was an example not too far back that I wanted to discuss. It's basically like I don't know, you could look it up. It was big in the news, probably back in the summertime. But I don't know, like a 30 to 35-year-old Mexican man or black guy or mixed guy had some civilian call the cops on him. Cops come, shoot him, dies. And he never had, and the civilian reporting the crime said he had a gun, and he didn't have a gun. And so, when we talk about this concept of speciality, a lot of it's the natural, the direct empirical thing you do is you exaggerate language. And so, we're just going to talk about how that's a detriment from a civilian standpoint. We've been railing against cops this entire lecture series. We're going to talk about that from a civil standpoint, or civil responsibility standpoint. Privilege, entitlement, and disrespect is an invitation to die, 100% of the time. You go out into go encroach on a mother bear's territory, she's going to rip your throat out and die. Here in the human species, we're going to say a bunch of passive-aggressive jokes. So we're going to just kind of discuss the science of argumentation. Most arguments don't escalate to physical violence. So what makes one escalate to physical violence, and what's kind of the psychology and biology going on there? And then this should probably take up the bulk of the conversation or the discussion, but will also be, if I have time or if the discussion's not too long, I might just switch from talking about law to just talking about trying to start a business in America that I've actually experienced. Because, right, the big American dream, you control your destiny, you control your freedoms, baby. Nah, bro. Part 18, The American Nightmare. Let's check it out. So to start, I really just want to ask a question that should be pretty intuitive to anybody, to highlight what individuality is. If you are not going to care about yourself, who will? I like that question. And the simple empirical fact is you spend most of your time alone. So in relation to law, I was just watching 60 Minutes yesterday, and the last, I don't know, again today's January 9th something, and there was just some senator on there. It was the last segment of the 60 Minutes, and he was talking about we'll get to the Trump situation, but he was talking about the incitation of violence, and you can very clearly see he's like, the Trump incited the violence. I'll explain why. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Let me start. I have zero political affiliation. I have zero desire to have any political affiliation. I am a small-time business owner in the United States, and I'm literally leaving this country as soon as I possibly can. So I have no desire to be in the public conversation. I'm not trying to make statements about politics. It's just fucking hilarious. But he was, like I said, I'm not defending Trump in any way. I'm not attacking Trump in any way. I'm trying to assess the situation with actual legal discipline. But he was talking about, the senator was talking about how the mob mentality, people don't have responsibility for their actions, basically, or that Trump incited the violence. What would someone have to come up to you, say to you today to actually go physically assault another person? Probably couldn't happen. So can you take one individual speaks to one individual and causes them to go do something? Is a lot harder to do than one in person influencing a group of people. Does that lead to incitation? I personally don't think so, but my point is people have to take responsibility for their actions. The people that go in there, and again, we're talking about, high school never ends, the path of most pathetic, spooks and goofs. Look at those dudes with body paint and face paint, literally going, first of all, if you're storming the Capitol building, you have to be aware you're committing crimes. And so if someone pulls out a gun like the Ashley Babbitt, shoots you, fuck you, who cares? But I might just get into the incitation now. It's kind of hard to separate the two. But the point is the personal responsibility or the potential to be influenced by other people. The social adherence to personal responsibility has to be much higher than any sort of group dynamic. Because it's fucking true. You make your own decisions. People don't really influence anybody that much. The end, it's just a convenient excuse once shit hits the fan. You can tell about the mob. A lot of them, it's like I said, they're dressed up like people at a high school basketball game. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. And then one of their persons gets shot, and then the dude's like, medic, chick down. Like, you guys are, you're actually endangering people's lives at the most central governmental time in the governmental cycle at the Capitol building. It should be the least surprising thing fucking ever to get shot. But it's just the spatial awareness. It's just like I said. It's on a personal, individual level. Like the rioters, the insurrectors. Was there insurrection? Absolutely. Was there incitation for insurrection? I'm not so sure. But I haven't personally reviewed all the information. I don't know. There's plenty of other competent people that can assess that. But what I wanted to point out is that, like I said, if you don't stick to the personal responsibility, you're really violating biological facts. And for consent, just another thing I wanted you to think about is: does a baby consent to laugh? Do babies consent to laughing? Do babies laugh? Yes. And the thing I wanted to point out here is a baby doesn't have language skills. They haven't developed their language skills. But they can still understand the tension and the emotional state and the reactions of people actually using language. And so what I wanted to point out, in addition to the personal responsibility, is people have a genuine understanding of what's going on in any emotional or logical state well before they can even communicate. Same with animals, right? That's why how dogs know how to hunt with you, or interspecial hunting things occur. But the individual has to be the core of our law, and it's the core of the Bill of Rights. That's what individuality has manifested itself to legally. And disrespect is an invitation to die. A couple of examples I wanted to just go over. I mean, again, this is Reddit literally all of the fucking time. But there was, again, I don't know, 3 to 6 months ago, probably like a 40 to 50-year-old dude, and is aggressively coming at somebody else in a car. I don't know how old they are. They're the one filming. They're probably, I don't know, late teens to my age, and they're getting in an argument battle, and it's a tense situation, and you can see the guy, he literally says, well, get out of the truck, bro, and I'll beat your dick. And then the guy behind the camera goes, well, that's kind of gay, isn't it? And the guy, the aggressor, you can tell he's literally trying not to laugh. He's like, no, seriously, bro, you want me to beat your dick, bro? And And that guy's like, that still sounds pretty fucking gay. And my point is for the science of argumentation is disrespect is an individual awareness. You are aware of when people disrespect you. And so in a pathetic society with a bunch of spooks and goofs, they're going to escalate it to the point of fighting or to dying. And most of the time, people just de-escalate it before that happens. But they get all tense and they get all in each other's faces. Is because they're so insulated at the society level where it's like it's exciting to them. Boredom is a fate worse than death. And so it's all this festering shithole, man. It was just amazing. So those are the ideas there. And like I said, I don't have definitive things. And now we'll talk more about actual, the Trump situation. And what else did I have? Oh, the voter fraud as well. Because the voter fraud conversation was the foreplay to the insurrection. So let's check that out. So now jumping more directly into like I said, absolutely there was insurrection. Was it incited? For me personally, any incitation of violence is directly telling somebody else to commit violence, in general. Now, could you take it just like murder is a general concept? There's plenty of other gradations, first degree, second degree, third degree murder, tons of different mitigating circumstances. The legal process as is has a lot more involvement than just, here's a law. But like I said, incitation in the general is telling somebody else to commit violence. Because I think personal responsibility has to play a much larger role. But the thing I wanted to point out was insurrection as an afternoon activity. You take mob mentality, you take pathetic awareness, you take a bunch of high schoolers who never grew up, and it's seriously to them. You can when you watch the videos of the people storming in, it's like something to do. Like they're there with their boyfriend and their girlfriend and their 5-6 friends, and again, they're unified under some flamboyant bullshit, garbage ass ideology. But it's just something to do on a Saturday or Sunday, whatever fucking day it was. And they're just hanging out, having a good time, tell the kids about the time they stormed the Capitol. It was just the weirdest shit ever. It's the weirdest level of entitlement and privilege for every race, every religion, every whatever. Blah, blah, blah. But another thing I wanted to point out was Leslie Stahl and Elon Musk. This was probably about a year ago, about a week ago. But Elon Musk is again, widely circulated clip. Elon Musk is talking about the First Amendment. Oh, it's about the stock price of Tesla. And Elon Musk is talking about tweeting, and Leslie Stahl goes, well, you can't be serious, or you've got to be kidding me, or you can't be serious, you've got to be kidding me, about Elon Musk saying the words Elon says were, well, it's the First Amendment, so, and then Leslie Stahl is looking at him like, but if some middle-aged old woman loses her money, then you don't get freedom of speech anymore, Elon. Ha! What about my money? I'm Leslie Stahl. I'm a great reporter. Oh, except that one time I didn't report on the treason, about Brad's treason that again killed millions and millions and millions of people, and still no one gives a fuck. But again, we've talked about the mob mentality, the civilians. The journalists have a special role in a democracy, and they're all owned by the Washington Post. They all get their paychecks from the same fucking organization, board member people, and then you just gotta push the whatever the public sentiment is, what everyone else expects you to think, whatever a bunch of old people want, and then again, Elon Musk is Elon Musk, and he can say, yeah, I have First Amendment rights, and reporters will be like, let's be serious. I mean, come on, man. And so that's the state of our journalists. Voter fraud. So for the voter fraud stuff, it's binary. There either was voter fraud or there wasn't voter fraud. And again, I don't really follow politics all that much, but if there wasn't, and there seems to be absolutely no voter fraud, then all of the Republicans and all of Donald Trump, I mean, that is like, saying that there is voter fraud is actual fucking fraud, is actually a prosecutable offense. And so when you see tens and twenties, dozens of people, again, just echoing some fucking nonsense because it's the political party, I mean, you're literally watching just, again, casual insurrection as an afternoon activity. Well, the senators in the House and the representatives, they're committing casual fraud elsewhere. So it's all, like I said, a big sea of hypocrisy. Like I said, I don't think, from what I reviewed, I don't think Donald Trump incited violence personally. Again, Donald Trump should go to jail for treason anyway. This whole scenario presents a very valid question of what is the role of censorship and what exactly is free speech. Again, like I said, I don't have good, definitive legal opinions on this. Would it have been better if, it's always in retrospect, could you look at some shitty event and say, would it have been better to censor something to prevent this? Most of the time, yes, and I would agree with it. I would say, can't speak for other people, but I would say most of the populace would agree with it. I'm talking 99.99% repeating people. But the question is, what do you do? And right, the parlay, bonjour, 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 faites-vous, 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 bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Sorry, I like to call that the bonjour song. I like singing that on NHL. But the parlay app, getting, again, I really didn't really know what's going on with this scenario, but a bunch of people, or I think Antifa is the far left people, or the left extremists, and the Proud Boys, those are the right extremists. Again, I honestly get those mixed up sometimes. It's just, there's a certain IQ level where it's just groveling ape, and they all kind of blend together because there's, again, sea of hypocrisy. But should you ban an app? Should you try to censor people on given apps? Do private companies, like I said, do private companies have the ability to create contracts that violates the Constitution? No. But if illicit activity is going on the app, how do you first of all, how do the people running the app get aware of it? I don't run an app. I don't know how easy that would be or how hard that would be. But it is a very slippery slope. And so, like I said, I really just don't have good opinions on this here right now. But that's what I wanted to say for the specific, the insurrection, the incitation, and what is the role of censorship and free speech. And moving on. So I actually am going to end this discussion or video here, because I was going to, like I said, maybe talk about how just some of these ideas have also affected me trying to start a business personally, but I want to keep it strictly about the law and the insurrection event. But this is America, bro. We're killing it. I haven't heard back about the householder, or whoever, the Larry householder. I don't know if he's been convicted of, embezzling money quite yet. But man, America is just continuing to rock 2021 exactly the way they rocked 2020. Again, I wanted to keep this video super, super serious. And really just emphasize that education matters, man. On an individual level, if you gave a fuck about yourself, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. If you have something to do with your day that's actually meaningful, this shit doesn't fucking happen. Right? What do you do to really fix these problems? I don't fucking know. You advocate education, and you put money in people's bank accounts with good paying careers, and all of this special stuff just kind of floats away. For real. So educate yourself, give a fuck, and keep enjoying the American nightmare. Thanks for watching.